Hey guys, and welcome into another edition of The Complete Angler. I'm Joe Long.
I'm JC Brooks.
Today we're going to talk about the first fish of the year, and it is officially
Here we go with the puns again.
fishing season. There's the first one of 2019. Can barely see it, man. That's not. Anyways, the fishing season has begun in Ohio. They're very cold, they're very tentative, but I did get a bluegill on the line, so that's a start. The other thing I want you to remember is to use a journal. Always journal all the fish you caught, and if you get an actual fishing journal, I got this off of eBay for like $5, I think. So keep your records, then you're gonna know, when you can really start fishing. It's due to weather, but it's also different patterns that you can kind of evolve over the years, and you have a record to go back and see when you did good, where you did good, what time of day, so forth, so on. Today I wanted to do kind of a simple thing about pre-spawn. Some of the different lures to use pre-spawn. Basically, ice out to spawn. You're going to use these lures. And if you grab that other box there.
Which one? This?
Nope, this right here.
My bad.
So you're going to want to use, for bass, you're going to want to use oranges and reds. So something like this is a stellar one. Worms, you want red tint to it.
Nothing near the high speed that stays so. You sure it ain't one of these?
No, this right here. Like these guys have a lot of red in them. You want to use crawfish colors to start out. So let's talk a little bit about pre-spawn, what to use, where to use it. So it's going to depend on a lot of variables to what your lake is doing. But muddy water heats up quicker than clear water. Did you know that?
No.
Okay. Most people don't. And the difference is because the muddy water has a lot of dirt particles.
And that absorbs the heat.
It absorbs the sun's UV rays and in turn heats the water quicker. The other thing is the fish go after crayfish, crawdads, whatever you want to call them, because that is going to harden the shells of their eggs, making them better. And a lot of people don't know that, but that's absolutely true. So you're going to look, on sunny days, you're going to look for shallow bays, reefs, creek arms on lakes, back bays. They're going to school up, then they're going to go to the spawn, and when the spawn's done, basically they're just kind of regular mode. But they'll school up into big schools, and they'll search for warm water. I mean, when it's extremely cold, we search for a place to go to get out of the weather. That's basically what they're doing. So their body's telling them, we need to get ready for the spawn, so we got to get out, we got to get a bed made. And if you catch a bass and its back tail is all red, especially the bottom part, that's because they've been up there fanning and making their bed. They literally make like a nest by swishing away stuff all the way down into the gravel, down to the stone in some cases. And so you'll catch a bass and it's got a bloody tail. That's why. The male and the female will hang out there. And if you cast in, 9 times out of 10, you're going to catch the male, because he is like guard 1 on duty. Now, if you catch him, you pull him out, put him in your live well, then you can cast back in and catch the female bass. And normally she's going to be full of eggs if it's spawn season. And she's going to be a lot bigger than she normally would be. I mean, that's when you see state records caught. A lot of times it's because they caught a fish that's full of eggs and eating heavily. And that's, I mean, you think of a regular woman and then you think of a pregnant woman. The pregnant woman's going to be
Usually a little bit bigger.
a little heavier. So that's some things to look for. Also, they like weed, they like cover. And a lot of times, I mean, around here we've had a lot of flooding. And out in Nebraska, they've had horrible flooding. But up in the northern states, it seems like when ice goes out, there's always a lot of rain, their ice is breaking up, and we get a lot of water. So if your lake is normally this high, now it's this high, there's going to be shoreline that was covered with brush or timber or woods that is now going to be part of the lake. You will find them up in there because A, it's warmer, and B, there's so much cover. And if they can get in to where there's a little bit of current going by to where they can feed, but they can put a bed back in between, a tree or grasses or anything like that. That's pretty typically where they like to be. So right now we're pre-spawn. In Texas, there's places where they've already spawned out, which is incredible. I mean, they're that much ahead of us because they're basically...
They're so much farther south. It's so much warmer.
They don't really have an ice out period. So they're so far ahead of us. And Florida, I think those fish spawn twice because it's basically it's spring or summer all year round.
Yeah.
So good early season baits are jigs, your Senkos, red or dark colored with red, your red colored crankbaits, red colored jigs, lipless, orange, and red baits are extremely good. So you want to go ahead and get some of those set up. Your rattle traps are phenomenal. Red or orange rattle traps, phenomenal. And get up in the shallows. And one thing they want to do too, you might check where the wind is. They like to be in quiet bays where there's not as much wind. It makes sense. Any questions or comments about pre-spawn to spawn period?
If I was a fish, I want to be in Texas. That's all I got to say. No cold.
Or Florida.
Or Florida. Florida's just as good.
Or California.
I don't know about California.
They're wacky, but the fish are big.
Okay, so we're going to one of these conversations. So,
alright guys, for Joe Long,
JC Brooks.
Remember to...
Is it me still? Okay. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, take a kid fishing.
And when you hit the bell, or when you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell or you don't get notifications. Alright guys, we'll see you on the lake.